When I was a kid, in middle school, 6th grade, I saw something. I know what it was, though I still try to rationalize it to this day. I've seen a few weird things in my life, but nothing has quite terrified me like that night. I never told anyone what I saw, until now. My parents, my two brothers, and I lived in a town called Fort Lupton. We lived in a house next to the one on the corner, across the street from an apartment complex. Next to the complex, a field of dirt lay undeveloped. Across from the field, down the street from my house, was an elementary school. I never went there. We had moved into town 2 years earlier. It was an unpleasant move for my brothers, being separated from their childhood friends. So my parents bought us a trampoline as something of a consolation prize. During the summer break of 5th grade, I had gotten into the habit of sneaking out of my room at night. I would sneak out of the house and lie on the trampoline, looking at the sky. Sometimes I would jump on it for hours before laying down to take a break or head back in for the night. I still remember the smell of the mosquito repellent the town workers in their trucks would spray sometimes. During the summer break of 6th grade, I was excited to begin my nightly ritual again, and I did, for a while anyways. To this day, I'm not sure my parents ever knew what I was doing, and at the time, I wanted it kept that way. I snuck out as usual after everyone had gone to sleep. It was probably 12 or 11 o'clock at night when I started jumping on the trampoline. It was a warm night, and I never felt a chill. The mosquito trucks didn't make their rounds that night either, which I was thankful for, since I had to duck and cover every time I saw a car. Maybe I was being paranoid, but the last thing I wanted was for my parents to find out what I was doing. I was sure they would put a stop to it. I only jumped for probably half an hour before I lay down on the tramp to look at the stars. About 10 minutes later, an extremely bright light hit my face. I panicked, thinking that a cop had seen me and was shining his spotlight on me from the street through my backyard fence. I rolled over and peered through the fence slats, trying to get as low as possible on the tramp, hoping not to be seen. I was confused. I hadn't heard a car pull up. I didn't see one on the street behind my house. That's when I realized the light wasn't shining on me directly. It was lighting up the whole neighborhood. The field of dirt was illuminated like it was daytime. That is when I decided to stand up and look around for the source. An orb of light hung to the side of the elementary school, a couple of stories about the field the school kids played in. I tried to make out its details, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. As it dawned on me that it wasn't a street light or a light from the school's field, I began to tremble uncontrollably. The orb seemed to have a spotlight on the side of the school. The light moved back and forth across its side. Something in my brain screamed at me to run, screamed at me that the orb, or rather its occupants, knew I was there, watching it. A cold feeling ran up my legs and arms. I felt like I would freeze to death as my teeth chattered. I took my brain's advice and I ran. I didn't scream, but the noise I made as I entered the house wasn't exactly quiet. I skittered under my bed, expecting my parents to come flying into my room any second to scold me. I knew I wouldn't be able to speak, and I was unsure of what I would do if they did. I didn't want them to go outside. I didn't want them to see it, because if they did, it would see them. But they never came. The house remained quiet. Neither my parents nor my brother came to check on me. Nobody had woken up to my panicked running. As I lay there huddled under the bed, all I could think was, they saw me. They saw me. I expected a light to overtake our house at any moment, for the doors to be blown off their hinges, for some strange creature to stroll through them and haul not just me, but my family off. I lay there in a ball for hours. For some reason, I thought I heard a voice playing in my head saying, if you don't tell, we won't come for you. But if you do, maybe it's silly. I don't know. After all, how would they know now? But that's the reason I never told anyone, until now. No, this isn't a story. It really happened to me, and I still feel cold when I think about it. So, I hope you enjoyed my recounting of it. I shivered the entire time. The irrational part of me still hopes that they never come for me.